Shalom. First off, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to the hopeful elect that are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. And to all my brothers out here preaching this truth to you, I say Shalom. This is a Montazar from the Chicago camp coming back at you again with another lesson entitled, Learn Not the Way of the Heathen. So, we're still dealing with this Nolan Wells case, this murder. All right. Every day there's something new that keeps popping up. Now I'm under the impression, that this is way deeper than just the friends. I think that it was a conspiracy, and we need to look more into Katie and her father. All right. Um, because it's looking as though, see, the woman has always been a man's weakness. Okay. And Nolan was around all these Edomites. And when you look at all the pictures and stuff, he was with some really nice looking Edomites. That beautiful white box. He was loving that beautiful white box. All right. And so the enemy, okay, knows what your weakness is, and he goes through the weakness to what? To take you down. Okay. That beautiful white box. He liked that beautiful white box. Okay. And but again, everything is of the Lord. All right. And that beautiful white box, okay, may have been used to take this brother down. All right. But in this lesson, all right, learn not the way of the heathen. All right. He was celebrating the 4th of July. Okay. So the 4th of July has absolutely nothing to do with us. Our captors, okay, were celebrating in 1776. They were celebrating their independence, okay, from Great Britain. All right. So it don't have nothing to do with us. Okay. It don't have nothing to do with us. We were still in slavery. All right. 1776, eight was it 1865. Okay, we it was quite a few years. Okay, damn near 70 years. We were still in slavery. Don't have nothing to do with us. All right, and it kind of takes me back to the very first lesson I did 5 years ago. All right, it's called "My Mailman Avoids Me Now." You can find that on this channel. All right, and it was all about the 4th of July. All right, so check that lesson out. All right, so this is Jeremiah 10 and 1. It says, Hear ye the word which Yahweh speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. And that learn, okay, is lamad. All right, and it kind of goes into practicing. All right, passing it along, instructing, okay, performing. So we're not supposed to learn or understand, instruct, pass on the ways of the heathen. This is Deuteronomy 12 and 29. It says, When the Lord Yahweh thy power shall cut off the nations from before thee, whither thou goest to possess them, and thou succeedest them and dwellest in their land, take heed to thyself, that thou be not snared by following them, after that they be destroyed from before thee, and that thou inquire not after their gods, saying, How did these nations serve their gods? Even so will I do likewise. Thou shalt not do so unto the Lord Yahweh thy power, for every abomination to Yahweh, which he hated, have they done unto their gods. For even their sons and their daughters they have burnt in the fire, to their gods. What things soever I command you, observe to do it. Thou shalt not add thereto, nor diminish from it. All right. So the Lord has already gave us the decree, the commandment that we are not supposed to, number one, learn the way of the heathen, and number two, follow after their doings. All right. This is what Deuteronomy 12 and 29 is talking about. Talking about their doings. You don't worry how they worship. Okay. You don't do what they do. And in this kingdom, all right, you got Christmas. All right. You got Thanksgiving. You got New Year's. You got so many pagan holidays. All of them. All you got to do is do your research. Okay. All of these holidays are steeped in paganism. Okay. Now let me see. Let me read just a couple of them. So you got Christmas. All right, that goes back to Saturnalia. I don't want to read them in detail because I want to keep this lesson very, very short. But I took the thumbnail and I put them up here, the screenshot, so you can see it. You got Saturnalia, goes back into Christmas. Okay. Dies Natalis, Solis Invicti, December 25th. You got Easter. Okay. The 8th century English monk Bede wrote that the word derives from Ostara, the Anglo-Saxon goddess of spring and dawn. So you got the representation of the bunny and the eggs. Okay. Let's see. Halloween goes back to Samhain. It looks like Samhain, okay, but it's pronounced Samhain. So Halloween is steeped in paganism. All right. You got Valentine's Day, Lupercalia. While named after Christmas martyrs, Valentine's Day was strategically placed in mid-February to overlay a bloody, chaotic Roman fertility festival called Lupercalia. Okay, so you can find by doing simple research. All right, most, if not all, of these holidays that we celebrate here in America is tied to some sort of paganism. Salaki. And the scripture clearly tells us that we're not supposed to follow those things. Okay? All right. So this is Proverbs 4 and 14. Enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men. Avoid it. Pass not by it. Turn from it, and pass away. For they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away, unless they cause some to fall. For they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence. Okay? All right. So Nolan's friends, they weren't truly friends. Okay. Deep down inside, they envied him. He was an Israelite. He was physically gifted. Okay. He was charismatic. All right. And you just never know. My wife was telling me the other day that she was telling me that one of her relatives was telling her how um, their son, grew up amongst these Edomites. All right, and one of his close friends, okay, was telling him how every single night at dinner time they talk about Jake. Every night they talking about Jake, the jealousy, and this Jake think he this Jake think he that, the hatred, the envy. Okay, and we ain't thinking about these people. All right. Now, everybody I know got a story about the wicked. All right. We think about them only to the extent of their wickedness. We don't think about them like that. They ain't on our minds like that. But we on they minds, whether you realize it or not. I remember growing up, there was a show called Cheers. All right. And as a kid, I used to kind of marvel at how Edomites congregate. They like to congregate. They go to the bar so much, everybody knows their name. That's in the song. But what are they congregating about? They're congregating about you, Jay. You so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. All right? They're congregating about you and what you do on a daily basis and what irks the shit out of them. This is Micah 2:1. It says, "Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand." Okay? See, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Okay? This is Proverbs 16:29. "A violent man enticeth his neighbor and leadeth him into the way that is not good." All right? There's more to the story. I think we need to follow Katie and her father in that boat. Okay? Because I think that this is bigger than just him and his friends. Okay? Proverbs 17:14. "He that justifieth the wicked, and he that condemneth the just, even they both are abomination to Yahweh." All right. There was a young lady, she did a video talking about the governor of Mississippi and how he showed no compassion for the family and never once, uh, you know, uh, consoled them for their loss. And never once did he mention justice for the young man. Okay? Even though he's supposed to be tight with the police chief. The police chief came out at the very beginning of the investigation and said that he saw no wrongdoing or evidence of foul play. But yet, we keep hearing that the boy had to be identified by his dental records, okay? And that his body was burned. All right? This is, in closing, this is Sirach 12:10. "Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness." Jake, you got to understand that you got enemies, okay? You can't believe in Christianity that tells you uh, wrongfully to love thy neighbor out of context, all right? Loving thy neighbor has everything to do with the children of thy people. We've done lots of lessons on that, okay? It's not these enemies. These are enemies of the Lord. They call themselves Christians. Never trust thine enemy, and never means never. For like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. Thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. Set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beasts? All right, nobody can feel sorry for you when the Lord is giving you the warning to stay away from these people. Okay? Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beasts? So one that goeth to a sinner and is defiled with him in his sins, who will pity? For a while he will abide with thee, but if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit, okay? Or the lake off a Horn Island. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. He will not be satisfied with blood. If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first, And though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. He will shake his head and clap his hands and whisper much and change his countenance. Okay? So, this has been learn not the way of the heathen. Stop celebrating the 4th of July. It don't have nothing to do with you, Jake. Okay? It don't have nothing to do with you. Yeah, we need to look at Katie and her father. I pray that this lesson was edifying. Until the next one, shalom.